In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a realistic roadmap going from $0 to $10,000 per month with affiliate marketing, including all of these different stages, all of the problems that you'll probably encounter at each of the stages, and the things you can do to get from one stage to the next. Now, these are just the stages that I've seen over the years and in my own journey. So we start with people who have made $0. You've never made a dollar online, at least with affiliate marketing, you haven't gotten your first sale. But going from 0 to the first sale is actually the hardest. And first sale is its own milestone, just because when you haven't made your first sale yet, this hasn't become real to you. Everybody remembers their first sale because it just gives you the possibility that you can make money online. And if you can get one sale, you could get 10, you could get 100, and you could scale it up. So realistically, I have this chart here, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, I highly suggest you check out the YouTube video because there's a lot of visualization. So 0 to the first sale is actually a bigger gap than it is from first sale to $10 per day, for example. So what it really looks like, if I were to move this is really what the gap looks like. 0 to first sale, on average, I've seen it take anywhere from 9 months on average to 12 months. And for some people who are even listening to this right now, it could be years that you've been trying, but because you're missing one or many of these components, you probably haven't had your first sale yet. And that's the hard part. If you haven't had your first sale, this just doesn't seem real to you. But I guarantee you, once you get your first sale, the gap between first sale to $10 per day or $300 per month is much smaller than the gap from 0 to first sale. But I will say, first sale, you could get lucky. So there's still fundamental things that you have to fix both in this stage and this stage to get to a consistent $300 per month. But once you get there, then there are a lot of things we can try. It is a really, really great place to be because it means you're doing a lot of things right to get to $1,000 to $3,000 per month and then ultimately $10,000 per month. That is a milestone that I've been able to not only reach but surpass greatly, upwards of $30,000 per month. But before we jump into the first stage, I do want to give some perspective because I am working on my next video. So I have this real world data from my case study that earned $375 last month with 13,500 visits. So that's a small site and it did earn just over $375. Now, I want to talk about these milestones and these numbers that you hear thrown around, 10K a month, right? So affiliate marketing, the way that I do it and the way that I teach it is it's very profitable. So because it's very profitable, most of what you earn is going to be profit. Like the fixed cost per month is just your website, maybe a keyword research tool for $2 a month. That's like $30 a month max. So that said, it's mostly profit when you do earn these figures, whereas in something like drop shipping where maybe your profit margin is 10 or 20%, 20% is, that's pretty good. Then if you earn 10K, it's more like netting 2K, right? So when you say netting 10K with affiliate marketing, you're like netting 10K. Okay, so that's a big, big difference here. And just to add a little more perspective, the average salary in the US, which is the wealthiest country in the world, is $60,000 per year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Just looked it up this morning. And the average raise per year, annual raise from a job in corporate America, is 3% per year, according to Investopedia. Okay, so if you earn $375 like my blog did with 3 months of work last month in July, and if you annualize that to 12 months, which is $4,500 per year, that's actually like giving yourself a 7.5% raise on that average salary of $60,000 per year in the US. Okay, think about that. It's 3 months of work, honestly, part-time, and in July, I only worked 8 hours on it. If you earn $4,500 a year extra, who would say no to that? $4,500 net per year. And I actually have an even better example that is better than my own, which I want to give a shout out to Peggy in our Discord, who's one of my one-on-one mentorship students. And she shared a couple of days ago that she earned $650 in July, and she started 5 months ago. We started working together February 2024 of this year. So $650 annualized is $7,800 per year extra. So the thing that I want to bring everyone back to earth on is, all these numbers of I want to replace my full-time job in 6 months. It's like, why would you say no to an extra $8,000 per year? Like, what could you do with an extra $8,000 per year, right? You can take any trip you want. You can fly business class. You can take the family to Disney World. Like, there's so many things you could do with that. And again, this is once you've done the work, it becomes passive income that's separate from your job. And it's in addition to your job. Most of the students I work with, they have full-time jobs. So anyways, just want to give a little perspective there. I am working on sharing that real world data from my case study to show how much a small site can earn and how we can grow it even further. But let's jump into the first milestone, which is $0. This is 90% of people who are watching these YouTube videos, who are listening to this podcast. You're going to be anywhere from $0, or maybe you've made a couple sales, but you're not consistently at this $300 a month like me and Peggy are, and on our way to the $1,000 per month, right? You guys are mostly in these first two stages. Now, again, the first stage, there's a lot of reasons why you may not have your first sale. So let's break them down. The first one that I see is honestly a broke mindset. So there's a lot of people trying to look for get rich quick. Again, these are the people who are looking for a magic button online where you can press a button, make 10K a month in 3 months and do no work. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who teach things like no experience, no skills, no work required. And that's just the opposite of what I teach, because if you look at this chart, you can just see like there's a method to this. Like it's work, right? But to be honest, it is more passive than a 9 to 5 that you have to commute 1 hour in traffic each way like I had to do. Like, this is way more passive than that, okay? So broke mindset, there's a lot of things that you have to work on yourself. You have to work on, your discipline, your mental toughness. You have to read books. You have to expand your mind. It's too much to go over literally in this one video. I have hours of video in my programs where I even just talk about mindset, productivity tips, success habits, and just the millionaire mindset. People who've made $1 million, they are all mostly on the same page when it comes to hard work, when it comes to grit. They've seen some stuff. They've encountered all of these problems and solved them. But if you're someone who hasn't reached that stage, you're a newbie, you have so many things to learn and so many mistakes to make. Now let's move on to the next one, which is a more concrete problem that I see so many beginners, if not all of them, making. You have too broad of a niche. So when it comes to niching down, and you may have heard me talk about micro niching, which we'll get into, but the truth is when you're starting, you don't need your micro niche. But the real issue is people are way too broad. They say they want to do a travel blog. That is insane. Like, you cannot just do a travel blog in 2024. You have to really have 3 layers eventually of niching down. So an example that I throw out there is female solo travel in Mexico. That's a 7-figure blog right there, earning upwards of 20, 30,000 per month, but then it's been around for, years. So probably earned over $1 million by my estimates. And that's, to most people, they think that's too small, but it's not small enough to, earn $1 million. But then in addition, a recent one, which I want to do an episode on, there's a Disney food blog that's earning well over $2 million per year by my estimates, like currently. And that's per year, okay? And they talk about food at Disneyland and Disney World and the theme parks, right? So people are too broad with their niche. They just say travel. They just say fitness. They just say health. They just say make money online when they've never made $1 online. Like, you can't do that. It's too competitive and oversaturated, and the only way to cut down on your competition and erase competition is to compete with less people by niching down. Next, weak branding. So you do need to have a website. You do need to have a YouTube channel if you do want to get to the 10K per month. There's no way to luck your way out to $10,000 per month. You need to have a really strong brand, and the branding needs to be strong before you even get your first sale or the $300 per month. Like, you need to have $1 million branding from day one. That's going to carry you and make your life easier, because if your branding is poor and you have a bad domain name, it doesn't have as much legs as a really, really great on-brand domain name, hopefully a premium.com that people look to, and it's instant trust, instant authority, and they instantly identify and understand what your site's about. Next is the wrong platforms. This one's a common mistake to make, because I think a lot of people who are just getting into this, maybe they're doing Instagram Reels, maybe they're doing TikTok, but you have to start with a platform where the hottest customers are, the warmest leads. And this is going to be the top 2 search engines in the world. If you listen to the podcast, you probably hear me talk about how Google is the number 1 search engine, YouTube is the number 2 search engine. The big difference is purchase intent. People who are searching on Google and YouTube, they're looking for that product, or they're looking for content that's going to promote that product, and they're looking to make a purchase. People who are on Instagram, they're kind of just scrolling around and exploring. And it's more of an awareness thing for the most part. Now, can that work? Yes, but the conversion rates are lower because these customers are not as hot with the purchase intent. Next, poor keyword research or none at all. I would say behind having too broad of a niche and just picking maybe even an unprofitable niche, poor keyword research will totally destroy your business just from day one. Because what you'll do is you'll write about stuff or you'll make videos and you'll get no traction, no views. And if you do, you're just lucky. It's not a data-driven approach. My approach is extremely data-driven, where I don't write about something or make a video about something unless I know that it is an opportunity that matches the stage that my website is in or my YouTube channel is in. If it's a new website, you can't go after the most competitive terms. So we have to get really niche as far as long tail keywords. And honestly, there's a method to this, but most people have no keyword research. They just write about whatever they feel about, and that's not going to generate sales. And the last 2 things here, poor quality content / SEO, usually both. So SEO is hard. SEO is a full-time job for some people. So if you're a beginner, you've never had a website before, you've never done SEO, and you've never had to, rank on Google to get traffic, SEO is something that just takes time. That's why I've created resources like my SEO checklist. This checklist has helped some people to rank page 1 on Google in 2 months, amazingly. But honestly, it's more than that. It's this is something you're going to have to work on through this whole journey. You'll be working on your SEO for both Google and YouTube as you go along, and you'll be learning, but it's just not something you could really learn overnight. You can learn the on-page, which is what I teach, but there's more nuance to it. And then lastly, no real-world data or feedback. This is another big point. If you're getting no feedback on your business and you haven't made your first sale, then that may be a reason why you haven't made your first sale. The answer might be really obvious to someone like me. You could probably let me see your site for 5 minutes and I could pinpoint a dozen things that you're doing wrong. That's just been my experience. So having no real world data or feedback and then complaining that you have no sales and this whole thing is a scam, I mean, it's just, you're just lost. And maybe that's a little bit of that broke mindset. I would say with the broke mindset, the thing that I forgot to mention is scarcity. When I was growing up, scarcity mindset is something that unfortunately, that's just instilled into you. If you didn't grow up wealthy, you don't have an abundance mindset. Money's tight and you have to be frugal. So that's a hard thing. I think if you're transitioning to be a business owner, you absolutely have to erase the scarcity mindset. You need to have an abundance mindset, but again, this is something that you can't just tell someone to do and then they're just magically going to change. It's going to take them time to, transform their beliefs. But moving on. So if you can get from this gap, and again, the gap is more like this, it's much further than most people think. They think that you go from 0 to first sale to $10 a day, $30 a day, and it's all 3-month increments. Each quarter, you're going to hit a new sort of milestone, but it's not true. So let's move on actually to the first sale. So you've made your first sale, you get, whether it's $1, whether it's 50 cents, it's enough for you to know that this is real. It's enough for you to know that if you can just get 1, you can get 100, okay? And there's no limits, there's no scale. Whereas, again, with the average job in America, where there's an average increase of around 3% per year. And to be honest, I've spoken to people like my friends who they've only had a raise of 1% per year, a whole year, 12 months to get a 1% raise. And, they're breaking their backs over this and just working so hard for a 1% raise that doesn't even keep up with inflation. And with the way that the economy is, you have to get in the driver's seat. If you can give yourself a 7.5% raise in 6 months, 9 months, a year, why won't you just give yourself a raise rather than relying on that 3% per year, which may not even come? You may just get laid off. Forget about the 3% raise. You might get fired and lose everything, right? So the gap between first sale to a consistent $300 per month is a gap as well, but if you can solve these things, you should be able to get to the next stage. So let's talk about the first sale. You've made your first sale. Now you want more. You got a taste of it. Now the second, the third sale, they tend to come pretty quickly as well, because in order to get to the first sale, what people don't understand is you need to have a lot of things going right, at least a few of these things going right. Now, it is possible to just get lucky with the first sale as well. And that's something that you need to be wary about. If you just get your first sale, it doesn't mean you're well on your way to 10K a month. Not at all. You're probably missing a lot of things even at the $0 phase. So what you would focus on is really a mixture of the things that are here that you're missing. Maybe you still have poor keyword research, which I've seen. I've seen people at this stage, at the $300 per month stage, they're not even doing keyword research, which is amazing to me because we can really blow it up. And they still struggle with poor quality content and they still don't have their SEO dialed in, but they get lucky, they get their first sale. Now, I'd say consistency and discipline. You're at this stage where you have some things working, but I'm willing to bet you're just not totally dialed in yet as far as, frequent posting, let's say 1 to 2 blog posts per week, or whether that's 1 YouTube video per week for those who are doing YouTube, or both. If you're doing a YouTube video and a blog post per week, sticking to that consistency, that's still a work in progress. I would say, honestly, even up to the $3,000 per month, you're still working on consistency. That's something that is a daily battle. You have to earn it every day. Now, the next thing is faster workflow. So if it was taking you 8 hours to do a high quality blog post before you got your first sale and at this stage, you need to learn how to get that time down to 4 hours, down to 2 hours, and maybe even beyond. You have to find a way to get more output. And if it's just you, then it's all down to your productivity and erasing your distractions. So that's simply it. Like, you have to get better, and that's where the consistency and the discipline comes in. So improving your SEO and the content quality. So improving your SEO, content quality, that's something that from the first stage where you haven't made your first sale, at least you made your content good enough and your SEO good enough to where you attracted a buyer and they purchased. Amazing. That means something is working. Maybe your conversion rate is abysmal. Maybe it's like 0.01% conversion rate, but you have a conversion rate, whereas these people have 0% conversion. So you're going to keep working on that. Next, choosing better keyword opportunities. This is something that you're going to have to work on really even up to $1,000 per month. A lot of people in these stages, they're kind of just getting lucky and they still don't have a really strong data-driven approach for keyword opportunities. But let's say you did make your first sale, you're probably at a place where maybe you have some data where you're able to see, okay, this is what actually sold that product. This is the product that sold. There's a clue there. Maybe I should explore that category of product or that product more specifically. And then lastly, collecting data and feedback. So you're at this stage where you've had Google Search Console set up. Maybe you have Google Analytics or some site analytics on your website builder. So you're collecting data right now. This is an awesome place to be. And this data you only get from having a website live on the internet. So in Google Search Console, they show you all the queries that your pages are showing up for, your website showing up for, and you get to see the actual way people are spelling certain things. And you may find out through that data that the way that you're saying something, there might be a synonym that is actually the way people are searching it up. And, you just didn't know that unless you had the real world data. So let's move on to the next stage. You've gone past making your first sale, but you want that consistency. You're trying to get to this $300 per month. So basically at this stage, you're getting consistent sales and your site is probably a bit more mature now. Maybe it's 9 to 12 months old or even older. And there's a lot of things we can do here. Okay. The first thing is analyzing your data and then having this feedback loop. So I would say at this stage is where I can actually really help people the most. It's harder for me to help someone who has is missing all of these things. Maybe they don't even have a website. Now, I still teach people from literally from the beginning how to set everything up the right way. And this is literally in my one-on-one mentorship. It's what I work hands-on with people now, because I realize how important the niche is and niching down. And that's actually something that we just hop on a call and we have to work through with data from what are the profitable niches, but then we have to work with you to personalize your niche, because for everyone's different. Just because a niche is profitable, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It has to align with your background, your experience, and your competitive advantages. Okay. Now, the feedback loop. So you're getting this data from Google Search Console, from the analytics, or from, someone like me who is providing you feedback, and you're getting to this loop where you're improving your business. You're applying what the data is saying. So again, if it's certain things in the title, maybe you could optimize your titles to be better. Maybe you could add certain H2 subheadings to your content that addresses some of the queries people are searching up. So like if there's a subheading underneath the main title where it's like, okay, talk about the cost of this product, talk about the durability of this product, you may see that in your data and you need to implement that and put that back into your content. So it's a mixture of like, what are people actually searching, and then apply that to your content. Now, what took me from $300 a month to $1,000 per month was absolutely niching down. And that's what worked for me. And that's why I preach to find a micro niche. But I'm only doing this at the $300 per month stage. Some people think you choose a micro niche from day one. But to be honest, the data is the thing that tells you where to go. I didn't know to niche down from home studio gear to just headphones if it wasn't for all the data I had collected and having had, already sold so many things. Because it was the sales on Amazon Associates that told me I need to go into headphones only, because it's that much of an opportunity. So if you don't have data, you don't have a live website, or your website's new, it's only like six to 9 months, maybe even 12 months, you just don't have enough significant data to make a confident decision where to niche down on. Okay. Now, make winners your template. This is how we can speed up our workflow. I would look at my top 10 performing blog posts or videos, maybe even just the top 5, to be honest. I would take the best performing blog post. I would literally turn that into a template. I would clone it, and I would start using that template moving forward. And I would also go back, and if some of my other content is not following that template, it doesn't have the same headings or categories or structure, I would actually go back and I would apply that winning template of that post or that video to all. Well, you can't go back and edit old videos, but for blogs, you can absolutely just go back and update your old blogs to match the winning template. Okay. Now, increase content frequency. This goes hand in hand with making winners your template and also with getting better, faster workflow. If you're at 1 per week, you need to get up to 2 per week. If you're at 2 per week, find a way to get up to 3 per week. More output just means more traffic. It just means more sales, period. Okay. And the next thing is going to be internal linking, website structure, user experience. So again, the data that we have here, we have enough sales data to know what are people buying. And I would actually change my website to fit what people are buying more, just obviously. So like from the top menu, I would make my categories the main categories of products people are buying. If there's a certain brand or a certain product, I might have that just as maybe not as part of the top menu, but like a drop down or something, where let's say it's headphones and it turns out Apple AirPods are super popular, the most popular thing ever. I might have a drop down below that earbuds or headphones, and it might say Apple AirPods review, something like that. Okay, that's just an example off the top of my head. And the last part of this stage is just collect even more data. Keep collecting that juicy data, because the Google Search Console, the Amazon Associates, or whatever affiliate program you have where it shows you your sales, what's selling, what's generating most of the revenue, this data is gold. It's data you will not find anywhere else because it is your own personalized data from your site. Now, okay, if you can do these things up to this point, you can probably get to $1,000 per month. Okay. And at $1,000 per month, I'd say this is an amazing place to be. I've seen people who are at this $1,000 per month milestone and they're missing some of the key things before it. And they're kind of lucky, but they're doing some things really, really well, obviously, to get to this point. And that's a good thing, because if they're doing some things really well, but they're missing some critical things, it should be pretty easy to go from 1,000 to 3,000 per month. Now, here's the first thing. Expanding to a second platform, YouTube. You can even do this earlier, to be honest, and I recommend people do this earlier, because if you consider your website an asset that's collecting data, that's growing, that you're learning things, YouTube is like doubling up your website and vice versa. If you don't have a YouTube, or if you have YouTube, you don't have a website, get a website, because that's like having a second YouTube channel, okay? Some people like to read, some people like to watch. That's how it is. And if you're not serving your customer, meeting them where they are, and if they prefer to read, you're not doing written content, you're missing sales, period. So $1,000 per month, you're doing a lot of things right, but you could expand to another platform where you could essentially double, triple your sales. And for me, in my experience, I have seen it where certain niches that are more friendly to YouTube, where people would rather watch than read, you could, if you're, whatever you're doing on the website, and if, like, for example, in my case study that's earned $375 last month, we could probably triple this with YouTube, just because the niche is very much like consumer, product. It's reviews, honestly, on YouTube. Then we could easily triple that to $1,000 a month. Okay. Second thing, reinvesting. If you're at this stage where you're at $300 to $1,000 a month, you're making enough side hustle money where you can invest into a better camera setup, better gear. You can invest into better content or products. So like maybe the products, these are things that you would invest in. And I have this affiliate arbitrage strategy, which I've discussed in another video, where you're essentially buying products used on eBay, you're selling them used again on eBay, or you're finding them even cheaper on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. You're getting really resourceful and scrappy. And that's part of the mindset. It's not having the obstacle of, I can't get all these products today. It's like, you don't start there. You know what I mean? So reinvesting into better content or products that you learn from the data. Hey, these are really popular. This would be a good product that is relevant to one that's selling really well right now. Maybe there's a newer model. Maybe there's a competitor that's really popular. You can make comparison content, okay? And I would start collecting emails at the $1,000 per month range. I have students who they've skilled up to this $3,000 a month and beyond, and they quit their job. They didn't even touch email marketing. So if you've listened far back with my YouTube or my podcast, you probably hear me talk about email marketing, and probably, I recommend it really highly. But the truth is, you have a lot of things to take care of before you even need to start collecting emails. If you can do it from day one, great. But if it's too expensive or it's just like a hassle, it's not that important, because you won't get emails until you actually have something in the next stage, which is a lead magnet and also consistent traffic. If you're not at $300 to $1,000 a month, you don't have consistent traffic, probably. Okay. Now, let's move on to where things get juicy. $100 per day, $3,000 per month, and we're starting to approach replacing that full-time income, where this starts to become a possibility of, can I quit my day job? Okay. Now, $3,000 a month, the first thing is conversion rate optimization. So in this next video where I share real data, I have the real conversion rate from a visit to a sale on my website, which is 0.88%. Conversion rate optimization, which some people think is just changing the color of a button, which is not true. There's a lot of things you can do to raise conversion rates, which I'll share now as well. So conversion rate optimization, if you can take that 0.88%, okay, less than 1%, if you could just double that to 1.6%, which is not out of this world, okay, you would literally just double your commissions. However much you earn that month, you would just double it. Like, that is the easiest growth lever that you can pull, okay? But again, there's so much that goes into this. Let's move on to the next thing, which is going to explain some of conversion rate optimization. Having a lead magnet, a free course, or just a better mousetrap. Now, this is a tip that you probably want to apply even if you're at the $300 per month, $1,000 per month. A better mousetrap. Think about that. It could be a free course. It could be an ebook. It could be like a database or some kind of tool that you create that's proprietary. And this better mousetrap leads to more affiliate sales. And this is something you just have to get creative, but typically, a free course, a lead magnet, that's going to raise your conversion rates a ton. And it's also just going to sell more things, which brings me to automated email sequence. Once someone signs up for that lead magnet, that free course, typically you're going to send out an automated email sequence where You send an email out today and then it waits a day. It sends the second email tomorrow at the same time, another email the next day, etc. Okay. Some people have email sequences that last years, that are that long. So when someone gets into that, let's call it a mousetrap, they're going to be getting emails for the next year at least until they unsubscribe. And the email sequence is going to sell more things. That's how you increase your lifetime customer value. Most people who are in this first sales stage, or even, before, you're only focused on making one-off sales. You need to focus on making return customers and repeat buyers, because that's how you actually get to these $3,000, $10,000 a month, is by selling more things to the same people. Because if they're interested in one product, they're probably interested in a bunch of other accessories, complementary products. There's just so much, okay? Bundling products together, okay? So there's so much you can do here. This is where things get exciting, because you really get to blow up essentially something that's working well, but we're expanding and we're doubling down. And then lastly, we're talking about affiliate marketing, but additional monetization and income streams. If you're at this $3,000 a month, it means you're getting enough traffic to where ad revenue becomes viable. Now, I'll make a point about this because I was comparing ad revenue. So this site, my case study site, earned $375 just from Amazon Associates in July. But if it was to have ad revenue, you could add probably about $100. It got 13,500 unique visits. That's about $100, $7 RPM from Google AdSense. Not even like the high-end ad network like Mediavine, that's $20 per 1,000 views or sessions, unique sessions. And so look at this. We could have added an extra $100. We'd be just under $500 for that site last month. But if we were to take this to YouTube, where typically it's about $2 to $4 for every 1,000 views, but for a lot of channels, some of them are even like 50 cents. If it's gaming, it's just too saturated. The audience is not buyers. They're young people. They don't have money. And you might only make 50 cents for every 1,000 views. But let's just say $2 for every 1,000 views. You'd have to get 187,000 views on your YouTube channel to make that $375. So yeah, that's to put things into perspective here. That ad revenue is just not really that viable until you get to a certain amount of views. Now with the website, it's a little easier. I'd say like if you're at 50,000 unique sessions, then I might consider starting ads. But really, if you want to earn a lot of money from ads, I think the 100,000 and above sessions per month, that's probably where it's at. And you get into the higher end networks where they're paying $20 per 1,000 views and upwards. Okay, so you do these things, and this is enough to get to a full-time income to replace your job. If we're talking that $60,000 per year, that's $5,000 per month. This is enough to get there. Okay. Now, the mythical $10K per month, and our method is mostly profit. So when we say 10,000, we mean 10,000. And again, with a lot of e-commerce or even like an agency, your margins at the end of the day, you need to hire people to fulfill the orders, or you need to do them yourself. Your profit margin might be 30-40% with an agency. So really 10K per month net is more like grossing 40K per month, which sounds really great, 40K per month, but it's only netting 10K per month, which is, hey, that's still great. I'm just saying, think about profit margin. People just do not disclose profit margin. Okay. So if you want to jump from here to here. Now for me, what's interesting is I actually had a second site that took me to 10K per month that was different from the site that I got to 3K per month first. It's not the same for everyone, but for me, I just knew that this would be a faster path because I was going to transition to a high ticket niche. And with high ticket, instead of making, let's say, 50 cents for affiliate sale, or like, let's say $2 from an affiliate sale, if you were making $20 per sale, $30 per sale, $50 per sale, you're literally 10xing your income, your net income, everything being the same, right? But typically the things that are high ticket, they have lower volume. Things that are, let's say Amazon Associates, it has such high volume that it makes up for it. Even if it's only $2 per sale or $5 per sale or $10 per sale, it makes up for it in volume for sure. But a fast path is high ticket. And to go along with that, that might be a new niche. It might be a second website or YouTube channel. And the thing about this that may seem scary, it's like, wow, I have to start over again at this stage, but it's not true. You've picked up all of these skills to get to this point. Everything here. Once you've gotten to the $3,000 per month and beyond, you have the skills. You know how to do this at a high level. You know the playbook, you know the strategy, you know how to do keyword research, you already have the mindset, you're consistent. It would be so easy for you to make a second website in another niche, run the same exact playbook and strategy, which is exactly what I did. And that's exactly what took that site that I started that was different from the site that took me to a full-time income. That second site went from 0 to 30,000 a month within 1 year, 12 months. It took 1 year for that first site to break past $300 a month or $400 a month to $3,000 a month. It took 1 year to go from here to here, but the second site went from here, stage 1, 0 sales, to here and beyond, actually, $330 per day. It was actually $1,000 per day in 1 year, 12 months. Okay? So that's why all of these prerequisites, we can call them, are important, because if you learn how to do them, you keep these skills for life. And you know how to replicate this over and over and over again and rinse and repeat. So for me, I have the same strategy that I've had 10 years ago. But I've refined it many, many, many times, made a lot of mistakes learning all of these different components. So that might be what happens for you, is you get to a certain point with your first site or your second site or your third that gets to a full-time income and realize, okay, I spot another opportunity. And it's interesting because you probably will be able to spot an opportunity even as early as the $300 per month. You may be getting sales and realize, I need to micro niche down to this other niche that is way more profitable, way more trendy, has way higher ticket items. It's just a better niche. You will find that out even as early as the $10 per day, $300 per month stage. Now, to add on to this, there's just a couple other big things, and there is more than just this chart, but the first thing is sales and service. So this might be a place where you're actually hands-on more with your customers because you're selling high ticket, because it's something that is expensive. You might be including that affiliate commission or sale as part of a service. You might be doing something for someone, providing a service, and it needs certain software. It needs certain tools, certain products, or let's just say, physical products. Maybe you recommend these products all the time to your clients, and now you're starting to incorporate that and getting commission on all of those products you recommend every single day to your clients anyways, right? If you're like interior designer, it might be a bunch of IKEA things. And then moving on to lastly, paid ads. This is really something that can pour gasoline on the fire. Paid ads is something that I've incorporated very strategically to my business because I'm worried about profitability, right? But to be honest, to get to the bigger numbers, you need to reinvest into the business, and paid ads is one way to get more customers, period. It's a way to guarantee you get certain number of eyeballs every single day, okay? With organic, you don't guarantee that you're gonna get the same views every day. It may seem that way if you're at a certain point with, let's say, YouTube or your website, like, oh, I'm gonna get this traffic every day until I add more content or until I stop updating it, it's gonna start to go down, it's gonna start to go up, etc. But with paid ads, you don't have to question the algorithm. You can just get a certain number of views and clicks every single day, right? So paid ads is a whole skill. It's outside the scope of this video, but basically this is a realistic roadmap. What I've seen, these are patterns I've seen of going from all these stages, from 0 to your first sale to 300 a month, 1,000 a month, 3,000 a month, 10,000 a month. And if you do need help with especially this portion right here, or let's say you're even at a stage where you are earning a few hundred a month, I can absolutely help someone who's already at this stage way better because they've already fixed a lot of these things. But I do help people who are at 0, that you haven't launched your first website or your YouTube channel. Okay, I help people to choose their niche and to niche down a little bit in the beginning. We're going to figure out the micro niche later, but for now you do have to have something unique in 2024. It's too oversaturated. And if you need help with keyword research, with choosing a good domain name and a brand, and if your SEO, you don't have any SEO skills, or your content quality is not good enough to make sales, like just leverage me, leverage my knowledge, and we can work together. And through that, we get amazing, amazing success like with Peggy. Again, shout out to Peggy, joined February 2024 and earned over $650 in July the same year. Amazing. 5 months later. So that's the difference. If you can just get started, and if you do have some kind of feedback from a mentor, you can just get results faster, okay? And you just need to get to that positive feedback loop of you're trying different things, you're getting data, and you're getting feedback. You're fixing all the problems that you have, because inevitably you're going to have so many things you're doing wrong. And then you're just improving at a faster rate than all of these people in this first stage, or this even the second stage that, you know, they've never made a sale. Maybe they've only made a couple, but it was pure luck. Let's get a system going to where we are sustainably and reliably making sales every single day. Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button and comment below. Let me know. Hit the subscribe. I'm going to be making videos every single week. So you want to get notified if you like content like this that's just trying to provide pure value. And for a limited time, I am offering a free 30-minute strategy call for people who are interested in actually taking this business serious, and you actually want to turn this to a full-time income, and you want it to replace your job and have that freedom. Let's have a call and we can discuss what you're thinking, what are your challenges, and if it's a possibility that we work more hands-on to where we can get these kind of results in a shortened amount of time. Because there's many people who nowhere near reaching $650 a month in 5 months. Like, no way. Like, most people, there's a lot of people who are like researching this for 5 years who've never made a first sale. Honestly. That's why 99% of people are just in these first two stages, and they're not able to break through. They're not able to get to the $300 per month, the $1,000 per month. So if you're interested in that, there will be a link below to check that out. If you are interested in the same program that Peggy's in, then there's also a link below that as well. But I hope you enjoyed this episode and got value from it. I'm trying to provide as much value as possible in the affiliate marketing space. So again, if you want to join me on that journey, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to link a playlist right here. It's going to have my best videos on affiliate marketing if you want to learn more and watch more from me. So make sure you check that out. And we'll see you in the next one.